Hello?
Hi.
Are you coming to the happy hour? I need to vent.
I'm still at the office.
Oh my god, are you trying to be CEO or something?
Yeah.
You'll get there, but I'll see you at happy hour. All right. Hi, Izzy. How are you?
Hi, good. What's up?
Nothing much. I want to ask you, what are your tips for what to wear to work, what to wear to a first date, what to wear to an interview? You work for a fashion brand. What are some style guides and tips?
Well, I'll just say that right now I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out what to wear because the weather in New York is very weird. It's like we're living in LA with this weather. It's like
crazy.
Sunny and 60 degrees and it's November, almost Thanksgiving. But
it's so hot outside,
yeah.
And I'm so confused.
No, it's so weird because you don't want to wear your summer clothes anymore, but then it's too hot for your winter clothes. So my uniform lately has been basically what I'm wearing now, just like some cool jeans and a plain basic top. And I think that's like, I think it's important to figure out what your personal uniform is. Because like at work, I don't know, everyone's like, wow, you have such cool pants. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That one staple thing that you're repeating over and over.
I just have a lot of different versions of pants that may look the same to everyone, but I think that they're different. And then I just kind of rotate random like plain tops. But it definitely is like a little bit more, not like pressure, but like working for a fashion company, you know, like you want to look good. You want to like be like, oh, this girl has fashion taste or whatever. But what do you think, like, let's say you're going for an interview for like the job that you've always dreamt of. Like, what are you going to wear?
I always go for business casual.
Yeah.
And I always go for a cute blazer or something. I usually always lean on all black because it never fails. Or maybe a statement shirt or like cute flowy pants just with a nice blazer. Cute loafers. I love loafers.
I love a loafer.
It's a great staple shoe to have, especially living in New York, having to walk a lot. It's hard to wear nicer shoes. I mean, you can wear loafers in the fall and the summer.
Totally.
Loafers are also really cute with like a skirt or a dress. So
it's like a fun way to mix like feminine with a little bit of masculine to kind of give you that like power, confidence,
also
but
like
also feel cute.
Platform loafers are cute too.
Totally.
Yeah. That's so true though. But yeah, I think I always go for the business casual.
I know. Well, and another thing is like everyone's version of business casual is so different.
True.
Like it depends what industry you're in. Obviously, like if you're working in banking, obviously you're wearing slacks and like a nice blouse every day. But like we have a little bit more casual cultures at our offices, so we can get away with like jeans and a t-shirt if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think it definitely depends like what you're comfortable with wearing to work. Because, like, whatever you wear, if you feel good in it, then you're going to perform well.
Yeah.
But a little bit of advice that a recruiter once gave me whenever I was interviewing for a job, she said, she was like, you got the job, you're going to go for an in-person interview. And I was freaking out. I was like, what do I wear? Like, I don't know, but I really want this job. And she was like, make sure your hair looks nice and blown out. Because you don't want to go in there looking like you just came out of a wind tunnel, or like make sure you don't look like you just worked out. Then she said, don't wear clunky, noisy bangles because you don't want them.
It's distracting.
It's distracting. You don't want them to be like looking at your jewelry the whole time. And then she was like, wear a piece of the brand if you have it.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
If it's for like a fashion brand.
Exactly. Yeah. Like obviously it would be different if it wasn't fashion, but I thought like those things were so like simple, but they like totally work for like something that you're super interested in getting, and it shows that, you know, you are there and you're serious and you're a fan already of the brand.
Yeah.
But like little things like that, especially if you're going for an interview, you can just do simple things to make them.
I actually just saw a Rick Owens quote where he said, the only thing that you should pay a lot of attention to is your hair and shoes.
Really?
And he said, if you have amazing hair and great shoes, what's happening in between doesn't matter as much.
Whoa.
As long as your hair always looks good and your shoes look good. And just going with like a simple all black.
Yeah.
So if you're ever like, I really don't know what to wear, just make sure your hair looks good for an interview or whatever. Make sure your hair looks good, your shoes are cool, and
just
then
go
you
with
got
like
it
an all
going
black
on.
Or
a simple. Yeah.
I love that. That's great. And then what about a first date?
Oh my gosh, I always see TikToks about a first date and what to wear, and I think that there are so many different answers to that question, because it's like, do you want to be yourself and be who you are on your first date? You don't want to be like, oh, I'm wearing this on my first date because TikTok's telling me to.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be yourself on a first date and wear what feels comfortable. I would say wear something that, if there's a certain shirt or a dress that always gets compliments, like from everyone, wear that.
Totally.
And don't even care about if you're like, oh, I wear this too much, because it's a first date. They don't know what you wear.
Yeah, they've never seen it before.
They've never seen it. So even if you're repeating an outfit, if it's an outfit you got a lot of compliments on, go for that.
Totally.
It's safe, it's simple, if it's comfortable, I think.
And you know you like it, so then you know you're going to feel good in it.
Yeah, I think dresses are really good for first date.
Yeah.
It's just like simple dresses, just because they're easy and they're fun, or just jeans and a nice top.
Yeah. I know. I always go for the jeans. I'm such a jean girl. It's not okay, but I think that's good. I think it depends what you're doing, obviously, but keeping it chill is great.
Oh, so right now, what are some of your favorite brands and ones that you think are doing a really good job at reaching Gen Z and doing well on social media?
I think right now, anything Emma Chamberlain is doing is tracking with Gen Z. I think, she obviously like got her start from YouTube and like people our age watching her, and really like looking up to her in a certain way, because you were like so infatuated with her life. And so she turned that into like her fan base for whatever business opportunity she wanted to do. Obviously it started with her coffee company, which is so cute, and she really leans into like cartoony vibes of like youthful playfulness. But I think it's her new collab with Warby Parker is very cool. I don't know if you saw it.
I love that.
But I saw like a girl on TikTok talking about how Emma Chamberlain's not just a content creator, like she's a real art director. Like she really knows what her personal brand is, and she really conveys that in any partnership that she does, and I think that's super cool. And I think it's very important with Gen Z, like our generation, we really value like authenticity and like honesty, and so that really shows through with anything that she does. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think she is someone who paved the way for the creator economy, for influencers. She basically invented what it means to be authentic on social media, and how a brand can tap into that.
Totally.
And I think what's so interesting is she like didn't have a TikTok for the longest time. She launched her TikTok this year or something crazy. And I thought that was interesting, just because it shows you can still be uniquely yourself, and you can be in the public eye.
You can be on top of the influencer game and not even be on TikTok.
You don't need to be on every platform right away. You need to be on the ones that feel most comfortable and native to you.
Yeah, and I think that that's like a key thing in launching a business. It's like you don't want to spread yourself too thin, trying to be on every single platform that there is. Like if you're able to do one platform really, really well and build off of that, I think that's where people find most success, like with Emma, like she built it off of YouTube.
I totally agree. And she's continuing to kill it. She's doing amazing.
It's crazy.
We love her.
I know.
So yeah, and on that note, I think right now a lot of brands have a hard time reaching Gen Z, because it's not even just reaching Gen Z. There are so many brands out there. So many brands.
Like, how do you break through the oversaturated social media world?
It's hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah, I just saw this on Instagram. It said, marketing is asking your crush on a date. Branding is why she would say yes.
So what does that mean to you?
I think it means that marketing is getting some sort of call to action. Your call to action is getting them to say, is calling them to say yes. But branding is leading to the relationship, the long-term relationship. It's doing the things that make you valuable, authentic. It's building trust. It's building loyalty. It's showing up every day. It's showing up in places where you didn't think your audience wanted to be or wanted to show up. And it's just being unique. And it's something that a lot of brands struggle with because they weren't born into authenticity. A lot of brands, a lot of legacy brands were born years ago, and our generation has a hard time connecting with them because we're not a part of that founder story. Whereas there's a lot of new challenger brands who are started by our favorite celebrities, our favorite influencers, or even just founders that have put their face in the public. And not every celebrity or influencer brand succeeds, obviously. Right. But the ones that do, it's because we're in a relationship with them. Yeah. We're wanting to know what they're doing every day. They're showing up for us. Yeah. We trust them. We can talk to them. We can actually feel a connection, and it's why a lot of brands are leading and dominating.
I know. I think a good example of this could be like, any soda brand, like old school soda brand, obviously they're very old. And then there's Poppy that is really good at being social first. In my opinion, like they're all over TikTok. Like their whole TikTok is barely even about their product. It's just about their culture of who their consumer is. And they really bring you into their office, give you the behind the scenes. Yeah. And really like, they want you to lead the decisions of this brand. Yeah.
And I think TikTok's an interesting thing to talk about because in branding and marketing, I've heard a lot of leaders say, well, not everyone has to be on TikTok, but most everyone is on TikTok. Yeah. And if not, your like entire audience might not be, but there's a select few that are. And I think that it just shows that your TikTok as a brand, as a company, it doesn't have to be about your product because maybe your product doesn't have a lot of conversation happening on that. Right. But if you make it just about behind the scenes work and what's happening in the office, that's relatable, and it just helps people become aware of your brand. Yeah. It's fun. It actually increases the work culture dynamic. At my company, when we make TikToks or social posts, they're so fun. It's a form of bonding. Totally. And I think that every company needs to lean into their personal social media and not have it be in the back burner. Everyone at the company should contribute in some way because it grows how you show up in the world. And it's a great platform for brands to be on.
I agree. And like, even I read all the time, Gen Z, looks at the brand in a more like holistic view. Like I don't know, if I'm on Instagram and I see an Instagram ad for something, I click on it, but then I'm going to go to their TikTok and see, what is this brand really about? And then that is where they're able to show like their whole brand story. And then that really sucks you in and be like, oh wait, I really want this product now, instead of just selling you the product. Yeah. Right?
That reminds me of a recent talk I went to, and it was with someone who works at Heinz.
Like and the ketchup?
Yeah, ketchup. And they said, to be a part of cultural conversations on TikTok or on social media, they said, look outside of your aperture, look outside of your company. They're not going to just tap into what's happening in the ketchup world on social media. Like there's probably not a lot of conversation happening around ketchup. They have to find other things and think, how is ketchup relatable to this conversation? And that's how it is with a lot of brands. If you're like an athleisure brand, don't just look up like athleisure, what's happening in the athletic world. What's happening in beauty? What's happening in travel? How can you be a part of conversations that your consumers are also interested in that might not be the direct thing you're selling? You want to be at every customer
like touch point in their journey. I agree. I think that's so true because it's like you want to connect your consumer. Like, let's say you're this ketchup brand and you do a collab with a beauty brand. You just unlocked a whole new audience of all those beauty fans. Exactly. Who maybe weren't really aware of your ketchup brand or whatever your brand is. But I think brand collaborations are a huge thing that a lot of brands are tapping into right now. And I think it's very important.
100%. So a quote we both loved that we wanted to talk about that just relates to getting over fear, and it is, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. I think let's touch on that quote because it has so much meaning. But what does that mean to you?
I think that this really just says like you're totally in control. I think a lot of people probably go through life and just kind of like blow with the wind and kind of are okay with that. But I think to get the true meaning out of life, you need to really be reactionary, and like be like, okay, this thing happened to me. Like, if it's bad, what am I going to do about this to change it, to make my life better? Or if a great thing happens, like, what am I going to do to continue this greatness?
Yeah. A lot of times we blame for things happening around us.
Yeah.
And we're like, I didn't have this growing up, or I don't know how to do this, so I can't get this job,
right,
or whatever it might be. But it really goes back to your life is only 10% of the things that happen.
Yeah.
How are you reacting to it, and how are you reacting to it with a positive mindset? You have to just think, and every time a doubt comes in your mind, you have to react to that doubt or that negative thought with something positive or a solution. Solutions. You have to bring solutions to all the things that are going on, and especially if you're chasing a certain goal. It's all about how you react to the things that are on your journey there.
I agree. I think this quote is all about, like, there is no excuse. Like, your biggest excuse is your own fear getting in the way. Because if you let that fear, like, build up, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You'll never get there.
You'll never get there. And going back to the importance of repetition, you have to react with repetition. You have to show up to the things you want to chase, the goals you have. You need to show up every day and do something about them. Like, every day is a day closer to the day you'll die. True. Which is a scary thought, but it's true. And every day matters and even if your goal is so small, it's just like, I want to go outside more. It doesn't have to be like, I want this huge career.
Yeah.
Like, take those small actions every day, because we don't have a lot of time here on this earth. And
it's true.
The more you think that and infuse that thinking, which is a scary thinking, but it helps push you to do more and go chase after the things you want to do.
I agree. It's like baby steps. You just need to take like small goals like that are attainable. And then you build more confidence as you accomplish more goals. And it eventually leads into like the overarching goal that you wanted to achieve. But yeah, I mean, I think they always say like to get over or to build a habit, it takes like 21 days or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Or like to break a habit. I don't know what the quote was, but something like that. It just shows you, like, if you do something over and over and over again, you'll become an expert in it. That's something that they always told us in school. But I think it is true.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question. What are your thoughts on dating in early stages of your career and balancing the work-life balance around having a significant other or someone that you're seeing, or just dating in general?
I think, obviously they always say you're not ready until you like fully are comfortable with yourself. So like if you're not comfortable with yourself, you might want to find a boyfriend or whoever, a partner, to make you like feel better about yourself. But I think like once you finally feel good in your own skin, then you can like slowly kind of pick up, like start dating a little bit, or like seeing somebody new. You can allow them into your life. And kind of build it up, but don't lose path of who you are and what your personal goals are, because obviously you want to do well for yourself, and it's hard to balance that, especially early on in like dating somebody and getting to know somebody. You always want to hang out with them all the time, or like make sure everything happens to make them happy, and you can kind of get lost in yourself at some of those points. But I think it's super important, and I know we talk about this all the time, to make sure that the person that you're seeing or you're together with has the same or similar mindset that we do in like career, and you want to make sure that they're supportive of you. And some of these things may seem very obvious, but it's very important. And a lot of people, like I was saying, like get lost in the lust of the fresh beginnings of a relationship, and it's easy to get lost in that. But I mean, I know we talk about it all the time, like how to build that support system with somebody. Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, I think my initial reaction is that it's so important to have a partner who is supportive of you, like you said, someone who shows up for you, and someone who also is ambitious themselves.
Right.
But also is interested in hearing about what you do and doesn't just say, oh, I had a meeting, I did this. Someone who also, when they talk about their own work and their own journey, they are taking the time to explain it to you to make sure you understand. And you should feel the same, and that you can do that with that person, that you can explain your day that you had at work and in detail, and they're interested and they're asking questions. I think there's one thing to just be like, yeah, I'm here for you, whatever. But like, make sure the person really cares and wants to hear about how the meeting went or how you did in the meeting, or wants to hear who you met with or the challenges you faced, and is asking questions. Because I think the more you do that, the more you understand each other and your places at work, the more support you can add to each other and add value.
Totally. And I think it's super cool when you can talk about your career with somebody, or like your day at work, and you guys can kind of relate. Even though you're in totally different industries, you can be like, oh wait, something like that happened to me today, like this blah 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 blah, and then you're like, oh my god, like I did that too. And it's just like the simple things of work that all happen at every different industry. So it's cool that you can bond about something like that.
Definitely.
Instead of just being like, oh yeah, work was boring today.
Yeah.